everybody. Today, I hope you're all doing well. And we are going to talk about cabinets and bathroom choices. So I'll just go through this. Again, feel free to just forward or whatever information that you need. But I'm just kind of talking through stuff. So just hopping on your online owner suite. Previously we did the wants and needs and the flooring, and then I had a separate one on the countertops. And then today is the cabinets and the bath fixtures and sinks. So these are a little more complicated. So we'll go over these pieces and what to put, and hopefully things will copy a little better than they did for the previous one. But I'm going to go over cabinets first. So first is just picking what type of wood would you want for your cabinets. Different woods are going to have different grains to them and a little bit of different color, but your stain will also go with that too. So when we're looking at you have alder, and again I tried to find the lightest variation of all of these things, so don't go based off of the color on these, but more so what does the grain look like. So alder is soft, often has knots, you can see that dark little knot on the one side. Usually a little darker. Maple is medium to hard, so it's saying how hard the wood is. If I have a really soft wood, it's more likely to scratch, and maybe even dent a little bit. It's more like scratching, so that's why it's going over the hardness. And then the green, some of the greens are more visual, and some of them are more you touch them and you can feel them too. So that's the biggest thing when we're looking at these pieces. So medium is medium to hard, smooth, wavy green. So again, when it says smooth, you're not going to really feel it. You can see it, but feel it. Oak is very hard. It's heavy, a heavy, coarse grain. So for oak, if I go and touch the oak, I'm going to actually likely be able to feel and touch that grain. If you paint oak, you usually can see the grain even when it's painted. So that's not usually the best choice for painting. Birch is really hard, straight, wavy, smooth grain again. Often has some variation in color. So if you're staining it, you'll still a lot of times, unless it's super, super dark stain, you're going to see some of that variation in the color like you can see in that picture. Hickory, same thing. It's very hard. It's one of the hardest. Smooth, natural streaks with varying color. Again, so it gives a more rustic look for that varying color. And then we have cherry, is smooth grain, unique in color, ages really well, it gets more rich over time, but it's expensive. Okay, so those are those pieces. So there are there's other types of woods. I'm just giving you the most common. Pine, mahogany, bamboo are other options. And so that's something to be thinking about. There are other materials for cabinets other than wood. This is just what we're going through first. Okay. Finishes are on here. So there's a link here if you want to look at it. Reminder, all these notes are on Schoology, so you can see them there. But you paint of any color. White, gray are really popular. Blue or greens have become pretty popular to paint on cabinets, or at least on the bottoms of cabinets. And you can do more than one color. Some like to do white to keep it not real dark in the whole thing on the top, and others down different, a darker color down below. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. And then these, I'm showing them all on maple, just so you can see what they look like on the same thing. However, I wasn't able to find the Cabernet on cherry. But just so you're picking what you like. Okay, so for this, when you go through this, if I'm on here and I'm picking my cabinets, if I'm doing wood, then I'm going to tell the type of wood. If you're doing a different material, tell me that. But if I want maple, I'm going to type in maple. And then I have the finish actually after the style of the door. So you can, and then you just can go, okay, which of these finishes do I want? Or feel free to click on all of these. There's huge amounts. You can see, way more than what I gave you. I just gave you different ones. Maybe if I like the slate, this is slate stain on maple cabinets, so I would put that in there. I'm ooh, I like that dark look, so I put slate. Okay, the difference between stain and paint is the stain soaks in and it's like absorbing into it, whereas paint is more like it goes on the surface of it. And usually with stain, you can still see the grain of it. So like, see, even with this slate, it's really, really dark stain, but I can still see the grain through it. Whereas if I did like a really dark paint like this, or any kind of paint, I'm not going to actually see the grain, which is usually a lot of the goal when you're painting it though. So you have to decide, like, do I want to see the green? Do I not want to see the green? And so I would put finished slate stain on there because I'm doing a stain and not paint. Okay, but again, you pick whatever works for you. You can pick from these, or you can pick from the much larger ones that I have here. Okay, and then the next piece is what cabinet door type do you want? And it's on a couple different slides. We'll go flat panel. A lot of times it'll be like a shaker. These are like what usually people call shakers. This is a shaker style flat panel. And that means that it has like basically this frame around on the inside of them, or like in farther. Okay. There's variations. So this is like a beaded shaker style. This is like beadboard look underneath. It's more of a country look. We have flat panel with a raised trim. So this has like a shaker look, but then there's like trim around the edges. And this is more of a traditional style. Like a regular flat panel shaker style is kind of a transitional look. It's not like super modern, but it's not super traditional either. So if you want something in between, that's a good option. Then we have raised panels, some different looks to them. So it's like having that shaker look, but inside is actually raised up. Some of them are just a part of it is raised up, and then others is just like most of it is. You can see how it can look different depending on the type. And this bottom one is that raised like trim panel around also like previously. And then we have slab panels. Slab panels are like really modern, really contemporary looks to them. And they're just like smooth, and that's what they are. There's also way more variations. Again, I have on the notes, I have just a link so you can look at more if you'd like, but it's not required. So like on this one, it's like just a beadboard, almost slab panel look. We have to see all of this like a flat panel that like you can see how the trim is really, really small as opposed to like what we consider a traditional shaker. So you can kind of just scroll and see like what appeals to you. If I'm looking something different, you can see this Hampton panel one right on this side right there. You can see there's like a curve on the top of it, and that's a little different than some of the other ones we were looking at as well. So feel free to scroll to whatever you like, and then pick. So for me, I'm gonna find where I'm supposed to be. So maybe I'm gonna say I want shaker. So I would put in shaker style. Move stuff over. Okay, so, and then from here I want to try to find a link and a picture of that specific style. So maybe I go on to this, and that might help me find the combo that I want. So like on here, if I'm like, okay, this is the shaker style, I bet I can change, you know, maybe I can change colors and do stuff if I look. If not, open a Google search, and I would just do like slate, stain, shaker, cabinet. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, and then I'll find some options. Okay, so this is where, oh look, I can maybe just go to Home Depot. Looks like they have that slate as an option. And maybe this is what I'm looking for. Okay, and I can get two kind of versions and pictures. So if I'm like, oh yep, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for. I mean, I'd probably search for something I want a little bit more, but you'll get the idea. I'm going to scroll down, make sure it's what I want, what I'm looking for. Okay, oh, this is a nice view. I can see what it looks like in an actual kitchen, which I think is really helpful. Okay, but I'm like, okay, if this is what I want, I'm going to take this and then paste my link right there, hit return. I don't know why everything is like over weird, but moving it over. Okay, and you can also feel free to make this smaller so it doesn't take up room. Like the only thing we need is just the link. So you can get back to it and I can look at it more specifically if we need to. And then from that link, I'm going to find a picture. So I'm going to copy that image. And then I'm just going to paste it in. And then there's my counter. If I wanted, it might be nice to have more than one. I like this one also. Well, that one doesn't want to let me though. That's okay. One is good. If it lets you, pop them in there so you have an idea what it looks a little better in the room. Okay. So, and then the cabinets. So this is the bathroom cabinets I want. If I want similar cabinets, that's fine. But the difference is in your closet. Usually they're more of a organizational system instead of actual cabinets because you want them more open usually. So for this, I'm going to hop out of here. Maybe I'm going to stay on Home Depot and see what I get, but I'm going to put closet organizer. And maybe if I want wood, the wire ones are fine. Wood ones are just higher end. And for designing, we don't have a budget. We want the wood ones. Okay. So on here, this is where like you can have something simple like this, but let's get fancy. Like we're designers, right? So I can look at something more like this, right? Where this has this little piece, but I'm wanting in a whole system. So this is more what I'm looking for. So I'm going to click on this. And again, I would search a lot more. And then maybe I want the finish to be closer to my bathroom ones. You don't have to. They might not match totally. But this could be a good option. Okay. So you're getting some kind of layout, some kind of thing on there. So I could copy this image. And then I would plop it into my closet. I'd go back. I'd copy the link again. Okay. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And I'm also just going to hit the space bar after. Okay. And then this one, the finish was espresso stain. I just remembered from looking at it. And then the style of door. So this is where there's not much doors, but there are on these drawers right here, and that looks just like flat. Might have a little like stuff around the edges, but I would still more consider it a flat panel. So that's what I would put. And if you're not sure, just look back at your notes and figure that out. Okay, so keeping going with this, I had to pause quick for a little bit for a phone call, but I'm back. There is the other piece on here is picking up with the type of wood. So for the closet, this is where I would be able to usually find this information in either the title or in the description. So this is one I'm looking at. Complete espresso finish. I'm trying to find the wood. Specifications usually give like the size. Don't stress about the size on here. If we were doing this, we would make the dimensions fit exactly in your closet, and we would like customize it. But that's just a lot more work than I want you to have to do for this assignment because we're doing like multiple rooms. Notice on here too, you can buy different systems together and put them together as well. So that's that's an option. So I'm not seeing that information here. Oh, it does say durable thick laminate, has a scratch resistant for surface. So even though it looks like wood, it's not. It's a laminate. So if that made me change my mind, I could put something different, but this I would put laminate. So notice if you see that, that's what you're doing. So then I would have my cabinet stuff done. Okay. And then next I'm going to move on. So I'm going to exit out of that, those pieces. And then I'm moving on to like different bathroom fixtures. And there's a lot of different selections that you have. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these quick so I don't forget. Otherwise I have a tendency to. And then they stay in there when I post it. So bathroom fixtures, you can see we have sink faucet, the tub and shower faucets. Whatever combo you're doing, you can choose that. The actual sink you need to choose, a toilet, and then towel rods. I'm having you look at the other stuff. You can find other stuff and do like and count them as like accessories and things as well. But these are all the pieces that we're going to be looking for. And you have different options. So looking first at sinks. So you already should have picked your countertop as a reminder. So looking at just the vessel, you can do different sinks. We have different vessel sinks. Vessel sinks are basically almost like a bowl of some kind, and it's set on top of the countertop. And then there's just a small hole in the countertop for the drain portion. But there's all kinds of materials: porcelain, solid surface, stone, glass, copper, all the options. And then you pick a shape too: circle, oval, square, rectangle, are all common. We also have undermount sinks. Undermount sinks are pretty common. They're kind of a little higher end look, and you have your countertop, and then the undermount sink gets placed underneath the countertop, and then the countertop gets placed over it. And it just has a nice, like, clean, like, smooth finish to the top of everything, which can look really good. And there's also different, like this one has like porcelain, or could be acrylic. They are most common. And then this one's copper. There's other materials as well. Then we have solid surface. A solid surface is an option for your countertop. And you can see in this middle picture, it's the countertop and it's this whole sink. And the sink is massive, right? And this would be someone that wants a lot of sink space and doesn't need a lot of counter space. Maybe they're having counter space in a different part of the bathroom. But you can make ones that still have just small sinks on either side, and the rest is like a smooth countertop. It's a pretty inexpensive option that can still look really nice. In particular, they used to do solid surface ones that were really shiny and had like swirls in it. And those are more out of date now. They look dated and don't look as good. But ones like this that are especially more of a matte finish and really smooth and just one color. White's one of the most common, but you can get all different colors, whatever you want, really. Is a really good option. And this is a nice option for people that want their sink and their countertop to be seamless. And it just is all one big thing. Next, we have semi-recessed sinks. So this is kind of a cross between that and a vessel sink. And so it makes some of it is down below, and then there's a border and a wedge around the top. You can see in this one, I chose this one so you could see it actually installed. Some people like this open look and have it look like that. My preference, if I did this, would still have more cabinets, so you'd see that semi-recessed area, which can be nice. That's like the sinks you're going to choose from. And so then I could go into Home Depot, or again, wherever I want. And then I'm going to be like, okay, I learned about them. Now I'm going to actually try to find one. So then I'm going to go sinks and see what comes up in sinks. And I might want to probably should do bathrooms. I could have put that in to begin with, but it also narrows it down over here. So it says bathroom sinks right here. And then it's giving me console sinks are one full thing, usually smaller. Drop-in pedestal sinks are smaller also. You can do all kinds. Those pedestal sinks are going to be more common for really small bathrooms and half baths. You want a little bit of a bigger one. Vessel sinks, wall-mounted sinks, you can do. It's just not very common in homes. So it has all kinds of options on here. And then on here it says drop-in. It has all of those. You can even see more. You can do more options, okay? So I might do, I like the look of undermount sinks. I like all of them, honestly, but I'm going to look for undermount. So when you're looking at undermount sinks, just know you're not going to see, most of what you're seeing, it's just seeing the inside of the sink. And it doesn't matter what the rest of it looks like because the countertop is going to be over it. But I could pick a black undermount sink. If I had a black countertop, the black might look nice with that. Okay, it just depends on what you're wanting to do. Okay, but all of these are little different options and shapes. There's more oval, there's square, and then pay attention. There's some that dip down a little differently than others, and see what you prefer for that. So for right now, I'm feeling this black one, and so I'm going to just copy the image. And then I'm going to open it. Okay, and then I would go down to the sink part and put it in that area. And then I'd go back again, copy my link. Again, feel free to forward me. I just want to go through each thing so that you're understanding. I'm not going to do this for each thing, but it's giving you the idea of just how to do it. Finish in color. Like this is just going to be black. Okay, the material. Oh, I want to know what the material is. So finish in color. I'm going to look like what material is this. It says Richest China rectangular basin, so it might be made out of china, which is usually like a porcelain. But I could put this in. I could just copy and paste that in. That's what it's made of when it says constructed of. I'm going to put black for the color and the vitreous china. Okay, style that for the sink. I think it's appropriate to do the shape. So I'm just going to put a rectangle or rectangular I could put. And then I have my sink done. Okay, and then next, I'm going back to the notes. On the notes I have tub. So I'm going to look at the tub next. So I have tons of options, and for this you want to have some idea of what shape you want. Later I'm going to give you some options of floor plans. And so this, you could keep this a little more open until you get your floor plan on this one. Because if you end up, if you want like a corner tub, and you don't pick one like that, it's a little hard to do. We can rearrange though if you want to. Alcove tubs are the most common. They only have one finished side because the other ones are all covered up with the other walls. And so they're usually a little cheaper. And often a part of a like tub shower combo. But they can be like $300 to like $2,000. I'm a huge tub person, and I found my house I'm in now, and one of the things that it had just an alcove tub, and I was used to like a really big, just on its own. It was still alcove, but it was big. And so one of my highest priorities was to get a new tub, and it still was in the regular, like a common alcove size. But the one that was in there was so like shallow and wasn't very wide, and I had more space to work with. So I was like, okay, I can live in this place. I can get a nicer tub. And I did, and I love it. And so when you're picking tubs, be thinking about it too. Like, is this the right size? Is it tall enough if I like to take baths? For those of you like, oh, I hate baths. Why would I want to even do that? Well, maybe you don't even want a tub. Maybe you just want to do a standalone shower. That's totally up to you and what you want to do. So anyway, these are the different types. So costs, again, drop-in would just be like this one's standalone. This one's against a wall, but it's still, everything else is built around and dropped in. Freestanding pieces, they're like just a whole almost artwork. Clawfoot tubs, and then there's all kinds of modern ones as well, made out of totally different materials. And then corner tubs are meant for tubs that are in a corner, clearly. Tub materials, acrylic. 90% of bathtubs are acrylic. They're really lightweight. They don't crack or chip very well, easily. Easy to clean. Lots of colors. Fiberglass. Often acrylic tubs are reinforced with fiberglass, but gel-coated fiberglass is not common. It used to be like 15, 20 years ago. It's inexpensive, but scratches easily, and it's just difficult to repair. Cast iron. When you get a cast iron one, a lot of old clawfoot tubs are cast iron. Now they're usually porcelain coated. Really durable, good at retaining heat, but they're really more expensive and really, really heavy. Can chip and difficult to repair though too. Enameled steel is generally made of cheaper alternative to cast iron along the look without the cost. So these are more common in like clawfoot tubs that are more modern versions of them. Copper, expensive, really good for matching Victorian or rustic furniture, scratches easily, and it patinas and has a nice look with age, but not as common. Stone and wood, or if you want a really unique statement, having wood or stone tubs are really cool, but they're really expensive, and they're more difficult to clean and maintain. So that's your tub options. So when you're doing, again, I'm not going to go through each one of these anymore, but look at your tubs and then find the features. So again, if I'm looking at a tub, oops, I'm missing, oh, I have the faucets in here, but not the actual tub. Oh, that's down here actually, I think. Tub, and if you have one. So see where it says shower and tub materials, I have that separated out. So tub if you have one. So if you're finding, it's usually going to be acrylic, unless you find some really cool stuff, just go for it. And then I have like size, shape, color. So this one I would put in the dimensions. So I will go over this one. So a tub, if it lets me, tub. See what pops up. Okay, so again, alcove tub is what I'm just looking at. I can find all kinds of different ones. And it'll show you pictures of what it looks like in, and then like you can see that one right there just shows the sides because you won't see that. Okay, like I have something that looks a little more like square. That's kind of my preference. And then yeah. So, but for me, when I was actually looking for it, is I wanted something really tall and as wide as I could get it that would fit in my alcove. So yeah, like this. But I look on more details and want to look at this, get inspired, versatile style, sequins. I'm almost positive it's acrylic. Oh, yep, and it says right there, acrylic. So then I can put that it's made out of acrylic. I can have the left drain. This is something, if you pick your tub and the drain isn't on the correct side for what your floor plan ends up like later, that's okay, don't worry about it. I don't have you switch that. Okay, but I'm just gonna, and I'm gonna put like more square style. So that's where this information, so I would put, or sorry, rectangle, white, and then I'm gonna get the dimensions. It's 60 inch. But I want more than that. I want like the actual specifications, and that's usually going to be under that, the specifications. Okay, so I would do 45.5. You know, I would copy and paste this down and put it in. I'm not going to do it, but it would be like 45.5 by 15.7 by 30 by 25.25. So that's what I would be including in here, is those numbers also. And I plop the link in and then my picture just like before. Okay, next up is tub materials, which we already talked about. Showers. So again, if this is, I'm going over showers that are separate, but there's also a lot of the same options in materials when we go over, like if you're doing the shower above your bathtub. So you can choose to do a one-piece fiberglass unit, as showing the pictures go in quite in order, but since the shower consists of a single unit, they're easy to install, change if they don't leak very much. It can be hard to fit in one piece though, so sometimes they do them in separate pieces to get them through doors. Fiberglass shower pan with a separate surround is also an option, and then and you can put it separately. They just caulk the seams on it, is usually what it is. We have cultured, so fiberglass, this is the fiberglass one on this side. Cultured marble shower surround is the one over here on the left-hand side. It's thicker, stronger than fiberglass. It usually looks a little higher end. Can have like shelves and stuff put in it as well. Tile is the one in the middle. You can see that. It takes a lot more work. And there's other way more options than above. Like this isn't my style of tile. I can find a like more updated picture. The results are can be really nice and really high end looking. And then there's many different tile options. Once we can kind of talk about that more later too, but all the porcelain, a lot of the like flooring options, the same goes on the walls of the shower. Okay, so then when you get to that, again, this is your shower main wall material. So like if you're going to have a shower either on its own or above your tub, what material is it going to be? So it could be, I could pick the porcelain tile, I could pick just a fiberglass surround, and I can do that for either. I can have a fiberglass surround that goes above the tub, or that's the whole shower. Okay, so for me, my preference is just a tile. So I would be looking at that. So all I have to do, I don't have to search for shower tile. I can just search for tile, right? I can do a Google search on that and I can find what I like eventually when it actually pops up. Okay. And then, so see all of these options. You don't usually do these little small narrow ones. They're more for backsplashes, but they can be really cool accent stuff as well. Like this is like an onyx gray porcelain tile, like glazed porcelain floor and wall tile. So it's an option. You can kind of see, oh, this is what it could look like, right? Like it's just showing it on the floor. But it can also be on the wall and be used for a bathroom. But I can kind of keep searching for whatever it is that I want. And you can search by color, the size, stone, glass. You can search, like do different searches and it narrows it all down for you. You know, like this little hexagon tile, super fun. So I could click on some of these and do some really cool fun things. Oh, I meant a different one, but you kind of see how these, and then you can see how they would look. So I would, again, I'd get the information, size, shape, material, color, picture, get the link in, make sure if this porcelain tile, I double check and make sure that that's what that is. Shower floor type. If you have a tub, just write that it's just a tub here and you're not finding that extra. You're going to find a shower door or a curtain. You can find those in numerous places. You don't have to be in like Home Depot and stuff. You can find them anywhere. Accent shower tile or trim. That's totally optional. If you want, like a lot of times people do like a big tile in the shower, but maybe they have a strip going up and down or sideways, or maybe like I know I have in my shower a shelf, like an inset shelf that goes to, like into the wall, and I have an accent tile in that. So you can do different things like that, but that's only optional. And then just tub if you have one. If you're not going to have a tub and you're just doing a whole shower, just write just no tub, and then you're fine there. Okay. Hoping this is making sense. I know it's really long again, but just forward me and find like where I'm at if you have questions. So I'm going to keep going with fixtures. So this is important, is where you're going to put your fixtures. And there's different options when you get it, and it all works together. So if you have if you like this type of fixture where it's one single hole and you just like raise it up, the countertop people need to know that. You have to pick your fixtures before you like totally finalize your countertops, because they have to cut stuff out. So like if I picked this one, I would need a single hole cut in. If I picked this one, this is like a 4-inch center set bathroom faucet. So it can be a bigger hole for those different connections that are in there. This next one is an 8-inch or widespread bathroom faucet. This one's showing there needs 3 separate holes because there's not a whole plate covering the whole entire thing. So it's 3 separate holes, and like the countertop people need the exact dimensions of where they need to cut. Otherwise you're going to have holes that you're going to see. You also can have wall mounted fixtures, which are really fun. But then those get mounted into the wall, and whatever they look like, the holes have to go in there with that. But there's tons of options with these. And so you also have different finishes and colors and materials. Chrome is first, it's like a shiny silver. Nickel is a silver, but it's more of a dull, like muted silver. Stainless steel, I feel like that's kind of in between those two. Oil rub bronze is usually a really, really dark, deep brown. Sometimes looks almost black. We have brass is getting to be way more common, and these are I have 2 pictures of brass. There could be a shiny brass and there can be a more subdued brass, and this is what people call gold. As they're saying they're having gold fixtures. They're not actually having fixtures made of gold. Maybe some really rich people do, but everybody else, it's actually brass. Matte black is on here. It's just black that's not shiny. Copper is made actually out of copper. And then there's white fixtures as well that can be shiny or they can be a little more matte. So those are your kind of usually your most options. There's probably some random other stuff out there as well. So this is again where you go on these back to the fixtures. And this is your tub shower fixtures and sink faucet. So those pieces. And then you'd hop again, you can go to Home Depot, go to wherever you want. Like even Amazon has stuff. So then I would go bathroom faucet. Okay, and then I can look and see what I like. And I'm actually shopping. Okay, so it depends on your preference. Like for people that have younger kids or just don't want to mess with like getting the temperature right, single-handed faucets are really nice. Widespread faucets look more fancy. Wall-mounted faucets are extra fancy. So it just depends on what you want. So if I'm dreaming here, right, and I have all the money in the world to spend, a wall-mounted faucet I find super fun. I'm a huge fan of matte black, but I love all kinds of different ones. There's no right or wrong. It's like, what style do you like? I love black and white in a room, but everybody has different preferences. So maybe, I don't know, I'd keep searching if it was me, but maybe I'm like, ooh, I like this one. So again, I would click on this, get all my information. I'd copy and paste the picture and the link into the location, and then let's look at, it's talking about the style and the finish and color. So like on here, I'd put sink faucet, matte black, and then kind of, it's like a modern, this is a pretty modern style, right? Usually you're going to have modern, traditional, or transitional are kind of going to be your options for those. Transitional is going to be kind of, it's the in between the modern and the other style. But this is like your bathroom wall mount faucet, and it's for your sink, right? This is likely not for a bathtub. Yeah, you can see it. It's for a sink. So double check when you're looking for what these are all for. This one looks like it could be a bathtub, but it's not going to have the flow of water that a bathtub would need. So just double check that when you're searching for it. And again, just look at the specifications for the size, any of those features that you need. I'm hoping that makes sense. Same thing with your tub and shower ones. Like if I go back, after looking at this, I could probably on the left-hand side, there's going to be like types of faucets that'll pop up. If I scroll back up, like this is where I might, yeah, see it says bath sink. Do I want a bathroom faucet, bathroom sink faucet, bath? On the bath will probably give me more like a bathtub shower combo. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see. Oh, it's getting me everything, just fixtures. So that's not what I wanted. So if I wanted a bathtub one, I would do bathtub faucet. Okay, and a lot of times if you make sure too, if you're doing bathtub faucets, that you see how on here, this is giving me a combo. So this is like a matte black tub and shower combo. If you're going to have a separate tub and a separate shower, then you need separate ones instead. And you can absolutely find those separately. But like what I need, if I have them separate, I have to have them separate. Like you can't buy them as a combo. It doesn't work. So like on this one, oh yeah, that's a combo. So I could put in like bath only faucet, and that would probably give me what I want. I'm hoping this is making sense to you all. I know it's a lot of stuff. But anyway, that kind of gives you the rundown of those pieces. We'll pick up on color and some other items in the next video. Please make sure you watch the color one because I know that's really hard for everybody to do. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later.